This is Engaged New York, a Module 2, Lesson 27, Concept Development. So, number 1, in a 77-kilometer relay race, each of the 22 team members will run an equal distance. How many kilometers will each team member run? All right, so looking at this problem, we can see that 77 needs to be divided by 22 team members. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write estimates because I want to make sure that I'm going to be estimating to assist with my standard algorithm. And I'll put the solution over here. So let me draw this out. So I have 77 divided by 22. When I first look at this, I know that I have 77 divided by 22, and I'm going to estimate this to 60 ones divided by 20, which equals 3 ones. So I'll go back over to my standard algorithm, and I'll place a 3 above the 1 spot. So 3 times 22 is 66. So I will subtract, and I'll get 11. So in this problem, I do not want to have a remainder. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to add a decimal place and a 0. If I add a decimal place here, I must add a decimal place up top. So now I'll bring down the 0 and make it 110. I will come over to the side and re-estimate. 110 divided by 22 will be estimated to 100 tenths divided by 20, which equals 5 tenths. The reason that I did tenths is because I came over to the 10th spot. So 100 tenths divided by 20 is 5 tenths. I'll put it right up here above the 0. 5 times 22 is 110. So my remainder is 0. So each team member will run 3.5 kilometers. Alrighty, if we go down to problem 2. A vial contains 14.7 milliliters of serum that is then split equally into 21 tiny containers. How much of serum is in each new container? So if I'm looking at this word problem, I see that my equation will be 14.7 divided by 21 because there's 14.7 milliliters and there's 21 tiny containers. So if I come over here to estimate, all right, estimate. The reason I keep writing this is just to keep myself organized and I know where everything's at. So I'll do 14.7 divided by 21. And I'll come over to the side to estimate. So I have 14.7 divided by 21. So that is approximately 140 tenths because I want to change it because I have a decimal point in the tenths column divided by 20, which equals 7 tenths. So if I come up here, I'm going to write a 7 in the tenths column. If I have it renamed here, make sure it goes in the right column, right? Make sure the decimal point is in the right location. Alrighty, so 7 times 21 is 147. Perfect. We come out with 0 remainder. So we have 0.7 milliliters of serum in each tiny container. All right, how does everyone feel about that? How does everyone feel about dividing decimals using the estimation and solution? All right, let's go to our last word problem. The surface area of rectangular piece of construction paper is 140.25 square inches. If the paper's length is 17 inches, what is the width? Alrighty, so if I'm looking at this, and I make like a rectangular piece of construction paper, and I know the length is 17 inches, and the surface area is 140.25, and I need to find out x. So what we're going to have to do is divide 140.25 by 17 to find out x. All right, so over here I'll write my estimates, and I'll write my solution. So let's draw the standard algorithm, which is 140.25 divided by 17. I'll come over here to estimate, and I'm going to first estimate. We'll go with 140 because that's the first thing I can get into. So 140 divided by 17 is approximately 140 ones divided by 20, which is 7 ones. So I'll go over to the ones column and I will place the 7 above. 7 times 17 is 119. I'll subtract, and my remainder is 21. Oops. I can get another one out of that, right? So what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'm going to boost this up to 8. Alrighty. So now let's try this. 8 times 17, right? So I'm going to subtract another 17 out of here because I just added one more. So I want to subtract that last 17 I added out. So now I have 4. I'll bring down my 2. So now I have 42. Let's re-estimate. All right. So I have 42 tenths because we brought it down from the tenths column, divided by 20, or divided by 17, I'm sorry. So we'll estimate and we'll do 40 tenths divided by 20, which equals 2 tenths. So I'll come up here to the tenths column and I'll write a 2. 2 times 17 is 34. Once I subtract all this, my remainder is 8. So I'll take the 5 down from here. So I have 85. Let's come back over to the left and estimate 85 divided by 17, which is approximately 80 hundredths, right? Because we're coming from the hundredths column, divided by 20, which equals 4 hundredths. We'll place a 4 up here. 4 times 17 is 68. And then I'll have 17 left over. Wait, what? I have 17 left over. So guess what? I can boost this guy up to 5. So let's subtract another 17 out of there. And our remainder is 0. So I subtracted another 17 because I had already subtracted 4 17ths. But if I wanted to redo it, let's rewrite it down here so it makes it look a little bit better. So I have 140.25 divided by 17. We know that 17, if we look up here, goes into 148 times. 8 times 17 is 136. So I have a remainder of 4. When I subtract, bring down the 2. 17 goes into 42 2 times. Don't forget my decimal. 2 times 17 is 34 with a remainder of 8. So I bring down this 5. 17 goes into 85 5 times because remember we added that extra. So 5 times 17 is 85. So I have a remainder of 0. So you can do it either way. The reason I subtracted these extra 17s is because instead of redoing the whole problem, I just subtracted another one because I went up 1. Alrighty, I hope you all do well on your problem set. Work hard, and there will be a part 3.